Good morning, race fans, and welcome to Today at the Races at Laurel Park on this Federico Tessio Stakes Day. Tim Tulloch alongside Callie Francois. Callie, this is the day, this Saturday in April, where spring racing really gets kicked off in Maryland.
It does. I was just thinking as we were playing out these commercials that this is the time when winter is finally over. I don't know what I'm more excited about, winter finally being over or spring and turf seasons finally starting here in Maryland.
Well, we are going to be on the turf today, so we're looking forward to that for the first time in this season of 2022. But this is what we have on tap for today. We have 4 stakes, including the Tessio, which is a win-in you're in for the Preakness Stakes, and the Weber City Miss, which is a win-in for the Black-Eyed Susan. Throw in the Heavenly Cause, which is a really nice wide-open race, and the Frank Whiteley $450,000 in purses. 10-race card this afternoon, and we've got a nice little offer here, Callie, with a little bit of a money-back special.
We do. We have that money-back guarantee. This is all day, Tim. This Saturday, First Bet and Express Bet will offer a full card money back special on all live races at Laurel, including the 4 stakes, the Tessio, the Weber City Miss, the Heavenly Cause, and the rest of the card. Customers who bet these races will receive their cash back up to $10 in the event that their horse finishes second or third. This will be offered every race, so you guys can really, really take advantage of this offer today.
It's like a free bet here this afternoon at Laurel Park. Well, I'm not sure if Laurel, Maryland has a Chamber of Commerce, but this is about as pretty a day as you can get. It's a great racing day in the spring. The track is fast. A turf course is going to be labeled good. I was out on it. It feels pretty good up underneath my feet. And, of course, the main track has been very, very good all week long. We have about 65 degrees this afternoon. Perfect racing weather for horses.
It is absolutely perfect. It's been perfect racing weather all morning. Everything has been going tip-top condition around that track this morning, and I think we're going to have a fantastic day of racing both on the turf and on the dirt as we get going for the races today.
Now let's get digging into this 10-race card. We're going to start with race number 1. Race number 1 does kick off the early pick 5, as always, 50-cent minimum, 12% industry low takeout on the early pick 5, mandatory payout. Races 1 through 5. Race number 1 is a claiming event. Now there's a 2 lifetime going 1 mile. And Callie, both you and I have the 7 on top. And that is Captain Cardio for Bruno Tessori. J.D. Acosta gets the call. Look, this is just perfect. Maiden breaker for $10,000. That's the day that Bruno claimed this one. He waits his time out. He works this one, puts the blinkers on, and comes back in the perfect spot. The 2 lifetime for
exactly. And this horse doesn't necessarily need the blinkers, but he's got them on anyway, which is a nice little extra security. He had that light bulb race last time out. He's going to get an easier trip than last time. He was at the one-turn mile. At this one-turn mile today, I really think he's going to appreciate that. And as you highly noted, the 49 flat work at Pimlico suggested that those were with the blinkers on.
And just entered as well as you can enter a horse breaking their maiden for 10. 2 lifetime, 5,000. That's exactly where you go. The 3 is Dijon for Mario Saray. This one's been running good efforts at this level recently.
It chased a runaway winner last time out at this level. When they chase and take on a challenge around that turn, I think he ran very, very well. A very, very game effort last time out that I think he's going to build up on.
Callie and I quite similar in the opener to kick off the early pick 5. Race 2 kicks off the early pick 4, and Keith Fustel sent in a ticket for us. Look, he's going to single right off the bat on the 2, Sugar Gray Leonard for Brittany Russell. As we say, in Brittany we trust, so he's going to throw it right there. Boy, he spreads in race 3, and why not? That's a 5.5 furlong event, our first turf race of the season. He uses the 1, the 2, the 3, the 5, the 7, and 11. He gets through the first 2, I think. Race 4, he spreads again, the 1, 6, 7, and 8. In race 5, he uses the 10 and the 11. $24 ticket on the early pick 4 for Keith Fustel. Race 2 is a maiden special weight event going 5.5 furlongs on the main track, and we're going to start with our top pick, and that is Keith's single. This is Sugar Gray Leonard for Brittany Russell. Javion Toledo gets the call. Ran a good figure in debut, well, not getting away well. But what does Brittany do? Comes back with a sharp work since then from the barrier.
He does, and that's the biggest thing. That's why Brittany Russell does so well with these first and second time starters, because she does what needs to be done. Didn't get away quick enough last time out. Had to deal in between a speed duel between two. There's a lot of pressure going on, and also easier spot, tougher. It's easier in Maryland than it is New York. Just going off of the pedigree a little bit. None of the siblings have won going first and second start, but the mare won short going over in Hawthorne. I think this really, as you highlighted, it's the gate work that really seals the deal for me on this one.
And Brittany, 29% with maidens making their second career start. Ran a good figure that day, 63. That should be good enough to get it done here. A first-time starter for Hugh McMahon is the 5 Runaway Empire. Both you and I have this one in our exacta. Has been working pretty well up there at Penn National.
Yeah, Hugh McMahon, as of short, 20% with his first-time starters, just off of a recent sampling. But that work tab leading in is sufficient enough for me, especially that nice bullet gate work going 5 furlongs at Penn National. I love to see a 5 furlong gate work within the 4 works leading up to that first-time start.
2-5 in race 2 to kick off the early pick 4 for both Callie and myself. Race 3, here we go. This is the first turf race of the season. This is a starter 25 or never won 3, going 5.5 furlongs on the turf. And this one will be run right on the inside rail. No extension of the rail. That happens later today. Yep. But here we go. We both like the 5 on top, and this is Crabs and Beer for Jamie Ness. I was surprised we both had this one on top, taking on the turf for the first time, and that's a good 20% of the time Jamie will win on the grass first time. I think this one appreciates the grass, and the main track races should work here this afternoon.
The main track races are very, very strong coming into this race in the beginning. Jamie Nuss also 21% from that dirt to turf route. But what has also caught my eye is that the Damsire Catalfa, 18% with the first-time turf starters. So off of a short sampling, only 11 first-time turf starters, but 2 of them have won. So that's certainly a go for a green sign for me.
You have the 8 flank speed in the mix for Susan Cooney. Charlie Marquez gets the call. Now, Susan kept this one ticking over through early winter, where he was running quite well on the main track. Comes out of a 2 out of the end at Penn National, where he only got beat 3 lengths. That shows a win at Penn National on the dirt at that first level allowance condition. But you go back and you look at his turf races from last season against tougher.
Yes,
there were good efforts.
And that's what I went off of. There's not such a big discrepancy between the dirt and the turf runnings with flank speed, and that's exactly what I went off of. Tim Best coming off of the pace as shown in the Meadow Stable at Colonial, and then coming back here in that allowance for 5.5 at Laurel Park. I love this. It's a solid enough horse at that starter optional claiming level.
And Keith Fusel sent in his play of the day, and it comes in the 2 Rad Paisley for Rudy Sanchez Solomon. And Keith has this horse lined at 9-2 on the board, but the barn, as you see on that graphic, 30% second off the claim. Game despite trouble in both turf efforts when you look back on his form, and takes this on or near the lead, says Keith Fusel. If Keith says it's Easter, you can probably paint your eggs, and it is Easter. So keep your eyes out for Rad Paisley in race 3. Race of 4 is a state-bred allowance race going 3/4 of a mile for 3-year-olds and upward. A big scratch in here. Take out the 3 Coastal Mission. That shook everything up a little bit, but both you and I land on the 7 Bear Force 1 for Claudio Gonzalez. This one's been in very, very good form since returning to the races in January. He's coming out of a good win with a lifetime best in the Open A other than. Trots back down to the state A other than today.
Yeah, so the only tick I have against this horse, because I did have Coastal Mission on top, the only tick I have against this horse is that he was against Nash Vegas and Magic Mule, who both went on to race, and they both bounced pretty harshly after that race, so it was harsh enough to get my attention. However, this horse is with Claudio Gonzalez. They tend to be pretty consistent when they campaign well in the barn, so I absolutely don't see this horse being any worse than 4th. It's easy. He's an easy enough pick to put on top.
Yeah, for sure. And this is a move we've seen Claudio do time and time again. Coming off a big race, gives this horse just enough time, puts two sharp works in him, 47 and change on April 2nd and 101 and a little bit of change on the 9th of April, and he comes back in here. We both like the 1A a bit, or Royal Thunder for Hugh McMahon. This one's stepping up to first level allowance company, but he's in very, very good form. And look, his best races, his figures are not too far off, and he comes in with two bullet works in a row.
Two bullet works. I was looking at this horse this morning trying to find a default in the horse, but really after that was a strong last performance. He did everything in hand, essentially. Jockey Avello never really even needed to use the stick on the horse. So the only thing is that this horse really, really he loves a head-for-head duel. He loves dogfighting it around the entire racetrack. So I think very, very, that's going to be an exciting race with Royal Thunder, what he's going to put out today.
It should. We've got a very, very good card this afternoon. Deep card, some deep fields. Let's move on to race number 5. Race 5 kicks off the Rainbow Pick 6. Callie, as usual, you put together a ticket. Let's check out how you played it.
I do. I go 4 wide in this number 5 race with the 3, the 4, the 10, and the 11. And in race number 6, I go with, of course, Luna Bell and then Chardonnay as another safe selection just as a backup. And in race number 7, I go with the 1, the 3, and the 4 Sir Alfred James Baracho, which I believe is your top selection, Tim, and Youngest of 5. I will never leave Youngest of 5 off of my ticket. Race number 8, that's where I go wide. I understand that Fee d'Esprit is very strong in this race, but I thought it was an interesting filly race, so I go with the 2, the 5, the 6, the 10, and the 11. Race number 9, our Federico Tessio Stakes. I go with the 2, the 4, and the 7 with Shake 'em Loose, Joe, and Smarten Up just as a security. And then in race number 10, I go in on my single with the Anthony Farrier Start with a Bang.
Now, you certainly get a little bit of a feel how deep the fields are today, looking at Keith's early pick 4 ticket where he goes deep in some races, you going deep in a few of those races on the Rainbow Pick 6. Race 5 is a maiden special weight event. This is our second of 2 races on the turf course today, going a mile, the rail set at 52 feet. And we're going to start with my top pick in here, Callie, and this is the 11 for Brittany Russell. I'm Blushing, had run last time at the fairgrounds. We're going to take a look at that race from the fairgrounds where things didn't get started quite the way you'd like them to.
Jumped strong, but it was a little bit leap up in the air, had a little bit of a shock absorption moment, and had to take back. You'll see it goes up and then down, had to just recalibrate a little bit, and then Angel Suarez just takes her back in the back of the field, which isn't her style. So we see her at the top of the stretch on the outside there. She's coming in. It's taking her a while, but once she passes this horse on the outside, she really gets the gears going and turns into a nice performance of a turn of foot just right at the end of the wire.
And you're absolutely right. This is a filly who ran close to the lead on the dirt, but I love that move from a rider. Things didn't go well to begin with. Let's just sit back here, salvage what we can get, comes up with a good positive race, save them for another day. And this could be the day for I'm Blushing. The 4 you have on top, Charmed Way, why not, for Jane Sibilli. Fergal Lynch gets the call at a nice run in debut, first turf race this past March at Gulfstream Park, where she ran quite an even race after having trouble into the turn.
Yes, I tried looking at the replay. There was a little bit of a bird incident going into that first turn that really, really messed up a Charm's Way run a little bit. So further, obviously, I think Charmed Way was, again, just like your top selection, Tim, with the Brittany Russell I'm Blushing. This was a horse that I think she likes to be a little bit more up further, but she was a bit further back than she would have liked to have been, and she made a nice, strong enough finish at the end where I thought it was interesting. So it's a tale of 2 fillies with the same sort of story. Let's see who's going to be able to have a little bit more of a versatility today.
A very nice race to start off the Rainbow Pick 6. We have to take a little break, but when we come back, we'll talk about the late pick 5 and all 4 of our stakes. Back to today at the races on Federico Tessio Day, a beautiful day here at Laurel Park. We're going to get back into this 10 race card with race 6. This kicks off the 4 stakes that we do have this afternoon. This is the Weber City Miss, $125,000 on the line, going a mile and a 16th. And Callie, you just can't get past the 5.
Nope.
Luna Bell, she's won 4 in a row. She keeps getting better. And we're going to take a look at her most recent race in the Beyond the Wire.
So this is her in the Beyond the Wire, and she has a history of coming off of the pace, but then just due to the slow factions, Dennis Arujo will get into that a little bit later, but had her up a little bit more further up than expected. So that was the question, if she was going to be able to handle taking that different type of position. But as you can see, she just essentially just rocks on with it. She's got her in hand. She's just doing her thing. She's just a very, very strong filly. For her, it's just, I just think I really can't. There's nothing wrong. There's nothing you can say against her.
Really, you really can at this point. She'll be going around 2 turns for the first time. I had a little bit of a question when she stretched out the mile the first time. Clearly, there was no question at all, as you see her just power down to the wire. She's won 4 in a row. She's ascended figures every time. She gets a little bit better and a little bit better. But we had a chance to catch up with Dennis Arujo, and this is what he had to say about Luna Bell.
Well, our plan always was coming off the speed. Last time, you see change. When you go 3 quarters, 7-8, the race open quarter is 22, 23. The other way was 24, and she was right there. I think if we show the same speed, she will be right there all the way. I think she's gonna handle okay. I mean, even if it's the first time, it's pretty much the first time for everyone. So the other day she ran a mile flat, going for the second wire, and she reached it pretty good. I mean, for now, I think she won't have a problem.
And 2 works since that race on March 19th, including a nice 3/4 mile work, 113 flat right here over a muddy Laurel Park surface. So Luna Bell certainly is the one to beat in this spot this afternoon. We'll see how it shakes out for her. The 3 is Chardonnay coming in for Michael Stidham. Charlie Marquez gets the call. Charlie and Michael, they hit it about 26%, a stat that I really wasn't aware of until I started doing my notes. But she's a filly stepping up to stakes coming in first time, coming out of a good second-place finish in a first-level allowance race. But she does have extensive 2-turn experience.
She does, and I think she's going to like that 2-turn experience better off of that, especially off of that win. You just see that highlighted right there. But I want to focus a little bit on that second race. I think she just got tired and bounced a little visually, just slightly in numbers. The only knock I have against her is that she's a bit do or die on the front end, but Marquez is going to be able to get her up there, no problem. I think she's going to be a tick quicker than any of the fillies in this race to get up into that position today.
And she's got the great draw going a mile 16th. Yes. If you have speed, the closer you draw to the rail, the better off you are. So I'm sure Charlie Marquez is going to be looking to be well placed. Now, he might have to deal with Kulug on the inside under Fergal Lynch. This one comes in for Chad Brown. Just broke her maiden, but look, you always have to respect these horses, these fillies and horses for Chad Brown. Going 2 turns for the first time in her career, but she draws inside of Chardonnay.
Now, and that's my problem with her, because looking at these fillies replays, that's the big question with this filly. In her past couple of races, it has taken her, even though she did get to the lead, it has taken her some time to break out of the gate. So the 2-post position is a little bit of a concern for me. So looking at her win, learning from her win, she was outside gaining on a 1-turn mile up in New York, and then learning from her losses, she does get a little discouraged when horses come and go eye to eye with her. So I don't know if she'll show enough turn of foot to run down any of these ladies. Really, the biggest question is she going to get out of the gate quick enough for the 2 turns here today?
So Callie gives a nod to Chardonnay over the first 200 yards of the Weber City Miss. Race 7 is the second of our 4 stakes. This is a Frank Whiteley, 7/8 of a mile, $100,000 for 3-year-olds and up. This is a very, very interesting race, and we're going to start with the one, your top pick, Sir Alfred James for Norman Cash. And we're going to take a look at his race from February 18th right here at Laurel Park. And we're going to pick this up nearing the half-mile pole where we found a little trouble.
Yep, found a little trouble. It just was a little bit, John rushed this horse a little bit up into a spot, wasn't able, horses came from behind, overcrowded a little bit, and he didn't have enough horse. He had to take back, and that kind of just took all the stuffing out of him in the race. So he tried to come back on the rail, but at that point, the race, I feel like the race was just it was done for him. So, you go, and then just going on from the General George, he goes and runs well at Parks, and then in that allowance, he was stuck at Parks due to the equine herpes virus going on, so that was a nice just overall prep for him leading up into this race. And talking to the assistant Jay Libertini, the horse has taken a new approach to racing in 2022 with learning how to rate, which I think is the most important thing about Sir Alfred James today.
Well, let's hear from Jay Libertini, the assistant to Norman Cash, right now.
I came out really good. We were pleased how I ran at Parks and pleased how I came out of the race. We sent him back down to Lexington. We have a great team down there in Lexington. Gave him some R&R. And he trained down there, and he came back to me a couple days ago here in Maryland. Hopefully, cross our fingers, at the winner's circle, we see him fitting. But it's a tough race. A lot of good horses in there. There's a lot of speed in there, we think, and we think we can sit right off the speed. Over the last couple races, he's learned how to rate all of a sudden at 6. So we think we've got a good shot to either go to the front or sit off the pace and make a big run. I think it'll be right there.
And this is a horse that's in pretty good form right now. He's run 3 consecutive races with figures in the 90s, but that's not new for him. And you look back on his form, he's capable of running these low 100 figures and high 90 figures. He's due for 4 going 7/8, but he's going to have to deal with that dreaded inside draw going 7/8 of a mile. I have the 3 Baracho on top for Mikey Gorham, and it took a couple races for him to get his feet underneath him after coming off of that break from September to December. But in his last 2 races, he's certainly found his gear, and he was very good 2 starts ago. Ran a 97 by her speed figure, comes back with another win and an 88.
That races 2 back. That gate speed that he showed that last time out, it was even going at 3/4 of a mile. So he just carried that over into his 1-turn mile race here. The stats, of course, work for Mikey Gorham. He's 22% second after the claim, 27% a couple in a row, 21% route to sprint. The stats worked for the horse. The horse, talking to Mikey, the horse has been training well. The distance just suits and fits this horse for today. I think he's a great selection for being on top, Tim.
He went up to Delaware Park for a little bit, had a work there. I was talking to Mike. He said his regular exercise rider, Karen Wagner, was up there. That's where he was going, and he brought him back yesterday or the day before. Look, this horse turns back from the mile to 7/8. He's 2 for 9 going 7/8, and one of his best lifetime numbers, 95. In one of those wins going 7/8 of a mile. We have to talk about the 4 youngest of 5. And I look at this horse, figures he's probably a little soft when you look at some of these other races, but I guess at the end of the day, he's coming out of the toughest races. He ran behind where she told me to go. She ran behind Wonder where Craig is twice, and was close to them. So this could be a little class relief for him, but by the number, he's going to have to be a little faster.
He's going to have to be a little faster, but he has not had the best luck of trips in the trips that he's needed and or wanted in at least the last 3 starts. And I know, especially in the last go-around, there got into a bit of trouble. That was, I'm not going to ever toss out a race, but I will say that race there, that definitely was not supposed to be happening last time out. So we have a jockey change to Jean Novello. So this is a chance for Jean Novello to really step it up and make some moves with this horse. All I know is that that last race, that was not what he wanted with that horse.
Yeah, fair enough. He probably should not have gotten beaten at Dave's friend.
Right.
He had trouble there. He only ends up getting beat ahead for the whole thing while running third, got bumped around, got steadied. But that's probably a race he should have won. And let's just say he should have won that. He runs behind some tough horses in those 3 others. He could be a major player this afternoon. Race 8 is the Heavenly Cause. This one is for fillies and mares, 3-year-olds and upward, going a mile on the main track. This is a nice full field of, 11 runners in this heat. And we're going to start with your top pick in here, and that is a 10 feet Esprit for John Robb. Xavier Perez gets the call once again. She'll be stretching out to this mile distance for the first time in her career this afternoon, but she ran a big race in the Conover in her last start, going 7/8 of a mile, and we're going to pick that one up about mid-turn here at Laurel Park.
And this is where I was talking to Xavier Perez, and it's a similar situation to Luna Bell, just slowly but surely stretching this filly out each time, and she was absolutely right there. She has a lot of tactical speed, and you can see on the screen that she's using that. So with that being said, Xavier Perez doesn't have to do much to ask her. She just goes on and does her merry thing. So this is just the logical next step up, stretching it out a little bit. I mean, she wins by 8 and she has a great gallop out.
Yeah, I mean, look, there's not a whole lot behind her, but she does it like you want a horse to do every time. I'm going to key in on her race before where she runs third, gets beat a length to Glass Ceiling. Glass Ceiling would come back last week and win the Grade 3 Distaff at Aqueduct. She's on a 4-race win streak, Glass Ceiling. So she ran behind a serious racehorse in the Barbara Fritchie 2 starts back. Sharp work since that last start. I have the 11 on top of Penny Baker for Michael Stidham. Javion Toledo gets the call. She's making her North American debut. Boy, there's a lot to talk about with this horse. She's making her North American debut for Michael Stidham. She gets dirt for the first time. She's won 4 consecutive races in France over the synthetic. She's been working well on the main track at the fairgrounds this winter.
It's interesting because talking to Javian, it was debated whether she was going to be in for this week on the grass or next week on the turf, and he opted to enter here on the dirt. So I'm being cautious. I'm just being cautious and not having her on my selections. I do have her on my ticket. So with that being said, I feel like you have to put her in your exotic somewhere, at least, absolutely.
Well, why not? The more I looked at this horse, the more I dug, I'm thinking she's going to get exactly what she wants. The main track. Her dam was a 3-time winner on the turf. However, her second dam, who was Fast Cookie, was a 9-time winner. 5 of them were on the dirt. She won the Grade 2 Cotillion and had other main track graded placings. So there's dirt pedigree there. She may be getting, and you look at her races on the synthetic where she really excelled over at France. She may absolutely appreciate the dirt here this afternoon. You use the 2, Miss Leslie, for Claudio Gonzalez. Pretty strong beat in the Nellie Morse in her last race, turns back to a mile.
Yeah, she just broke a fraction off in the Nellie Morse. I felt she was chasing a little bit of a quick enough pace going into the 2 turns. I like the 1-turn mile for her here today. Just overall looking at that last race, I felt like it just some horses, they can't have their day every day. And I just looking at her body language, how she was going, I really truly don't feel like it was her day. So I think she's going to come and bounce back a little bit stronger in numbers and figures for today.
She was coming out of 2 consecutive good races in December and January. Before that, not so good race in February. The 5 is Primacy. We'll touch on that one real quick. Comes in for Chad Brown. Just won a 2 other than up there at Aqueduct. A little bit of a freshening. Comes in with 5 works, and you always have to be aware of a Chad Brown runner. A very interesting 8th race, a Heavenly Cause, big field. Take your time with this one. It could go a lot of different ways. The 9th race is the feature event of the afternoon. This is a Federico Tessio, no scratches, full field of 9. We're going to start with your top pick. That is Shake 'em Loose. And my top pick, that is Joe. We're going to look at their race from February 19th. This is the private terms. Now, going into this race, I said it was now or never for Joe. I'm going to give him one more shot, but I don't love the race he runs here. You see Shake 'em Loose, who takes the lead right now.
So a couple of things that happened on the backside that I think Joe was a little bit blocked on that inside rail while Charlie Marquez was making. If he lost the race, it would have been an early move with Shake 'em Loose, but he had enough horse. Now you see right here, I know Victor Carrasco got instructions to. Prior to that, this horse was running on the left lead, the inside lead, so he's been winning on it. So it took a little bit of time to get him to that outside lead. Takes a little bit of time for Joe to start getting going on that outside lead. So might have needed a little bit more distance, might have needed a little bit more race.
Yeah, I mean, that's what I'm hoping for, that the mile and 1/8 will help him because, look, Shake 'em Loose was laying down. I mean, he had every opportunity,
Right.
even after switching his lead. I'm just worried that Joe's not in love with going by horses. He is my top pick. I hope the mile in the 8th helps, but I just thought that was a race he should have won.
I think you bring up an excellent point where he doesn't like to chase horses or bring them down. I think in his 2 wins, he's made that sweeping move, and he's kind of had it open on the front side. So he had to work for it a little bit on the front side. And I think you make a great point in that he really had to work hard to chase him down while Shaken Loose was coming back to him a little bit.
Yeah, and you can't argue with his form. I mean, the horse is in very, very good form. He's only been off the board once in his life, and he only got beat 3 lengths that day, and that was going 5.5 on the turf in his debut.
Yep.
Shake him loose. Look, this is a horse when Rudy Sanchez-Solomon stretched him out for the first time in February. He won that first level allowance race and then came back with that win you just saw with a lifetime best. He just keeps getting better and better, and we talked to Rudy Sanchez-Solomon about Shake him loose.
Well, he's not now. He's on his best time ever because when I first was watching him for a while, I was gonna claim for a bigger price, but I just wait until they drop him down a little bit. Reason I claim because I got a filly, it's a half brother of him, and I love her, so I was watching him, and he got a little bit of issues that I find him luckily, and we tried to fix it, and luckily we did, and he's improving a lot since then. Really, I don't have no nerves. I just gonna go day by day and then see if he can give us his best. If he gives us his best, or improve a little bit more than what he did last time, we have no problem going in there. But anything can happen. Anything can happen. Also, knocking on wood, he's perfect right now. He's on his toes right now. So I bridged him last Saturday. He showed me something really impressive. So that's why I'm kind of not nervous at all. So we'll see. It will be everybody's dream. Everybody wants to compete on the big races. Like, everybody hopes. I got the shot. He's asking me for a shot. He's giving me a shot. Let's take the shot. Let's take the opportunity to run in those big races if we can. If not, we just can go by the day.
And why not take a shot at a good race in the private terms? You can expect the Rudy's horses to get a little bit better and better. This would be his 3rd time going long for Rudy, a work since that last race. The 7 is smarting up. This horse is interesting. Comes in for Alfredo Velasquez. Angel Cruz gets the call. This is a Parks Invader. Adding Lasix for the first time. Coming out of a 2 lifetime race at the Parks where he got beat a length and a half and knows the time before. Needs to get away. He's just having a little trouble trouble getting away, but coming off 2 lifetime best races.
Well, speaking of not getting away, I'm looking at I'm going a little bit off of the Jerome Stakes, even if he doesn't get away, because he did show professionalism off of a quick early pace. I don't think he's going to get that lucky today. I do agree with you where I do think he does need to get up there because that is where he has shown most of his solid, stronger performances. But knowing that he is able to do it, and again, I think the Lasix addition of Lasix is a really big help for him today.
Let's talk about South Street a little bit. This one comes in for Billy Mott. Big win with a lifetime best while breaking his maiden. First time in Billy's barn. So stepping up here today. But why not? The dam, Miss Catamine, she only ran twice. But the second dam was 5 for 7. Sweet Catamine. She was a multiple graded stakes winner, including the Breeders' Cup Juvenile at Lone Star Park. I remember that because I happened to be there. Yeah, why not take a shot with this one?
I thought he was very interesting. He's an unproven horse out of an unproven field. Let's be aware of that. But he has a quick turn of foot that could be an advantage here. Bill always seems to ship well here when his horses ship well and run well enough here when he does come to Maryland. Looking at that one, he got slightly fussy in the first turn, being really taken. He had to get really taken back. He went in between horses on the backside and the far turn. A nice turn of foot when he switched onto his right lead. So a little bit of a diamond in the rough, I want to call South Street.
A few works since that last race. Billy pretty good off on this type of layoff and win 2 in a row, about 22%, 29% of the time. That's our stake action. Federico Tessio, what a nice race. 9 3-year-olds trying to get seal their fate into the Preakness Stakes. Race 10 finishes out our card. This is a 2 lifetime $16,000 claiming event going 7/8 of a mile. And you are on the 9, Callie. I didn't even use the 9. Yeah, I did.
I'm on the 4.
Yeah, you're on the 4.
Yeah,
okay.
I'm on the 4.
Start with a bang. Anthony Ferry, why not? This is a Charlestown maiden breaker. but she has races here at the Laurel Park that are good.
Well, I think bringing off of it's a little bit of a lateral move. I think if you go back to those Laurel races, she's down at the 16. Those Laurel races were at 25 and 40. A big change up. And if you go back to that 25, that's well enough to do well here. And then you have Anthony Ferrier, he's been 11% lately with Charlestown to Laurel, but third after the claim, he's at 33%. So once he gets a couple of runs under his barn, he has a pretty good handle of where that horse needs to go.
I'm on the 3, Chica Rabiosa, coming out of a race where she absolutely galloped by 9.5 lengths. However, she got DQ'd at this level, returns once again for Karen McGee. That does our race card for this afternoon's races. Really, really nice card. Let's look at a couple things real quick. Let's tell you about our money back special. Once again this afternoon, you get cash back up to $10 every time your horse finishes second or third if you bet them to win. For details, go to first.com /bet/promotions for more details. Now, like I said, we're into the springtime. We're into the best racing of the year here in Maryland, and it doesn't stop. Next Saturday, it is our spring turf festival. We have 4 races on tap. 3 of those are match race series. $400,000 races: a Promenada, the Native Dancer, the Henry Clark, the Dahlia, the King T. Leatherberry. Those 3 of those 5 races on the grass course. So we're looking forward to that next Saturday. If you have a good time here today, and you will, come back and see us next Saturday. That's going to do it for Callie and myself. We're going to send it upstairs to Dave Rodman for scratches and changes.